shadows and time. Yesterday we looked at winter and summer and what makes up the seasons and how the planet Earth's orbit around the sun, as well as the tilt of the axis of planet Earth, affects our climate. So that's what gives us either summer or winter. Today we're going to look at shadows and time. When sunlight falls on an object, the object's shadow points away from the sun. The length and position of the shadow change as the sun appears to move across the sky. When the sun is low in the sky, shadows are long. At noon, when the sun is overhead, shadows are short. People in ancient times did not have clocks. Then they noticed how shadows changed during the day, and they built sundials that used shadows to tell time. A sundial is a disc with numbers around the edge that represents hours. An angled piece sticks up from the center of the sundial and casts a shadow. The surface of a sundial has markings for each hour of daylight. As the sun moves across the sky, another part of the sundial casts a shadow on these markings. The position of the shadow shows what time it is. Sundials are the oldest known instruments for telling time. The flat surface of a sundial is called a dial plate. It may be made of metal, wood, stone, or other materials. All right, so we're thinking about how shadows helped people tell time and what made the shadows change. Why did, what was causing these shadows to change? Even today, like at noon, middle of the day, your shadow is very short and very close to you. But as it turns later in the evening, your shadow grows longer and longer. Why is that? Why is that, Wyatt?
Well, it's because it's like whenever we get it's the sun, whenever we rotate around it, whenever it's daytime, that's when the most sunlight comes to us. And then as we move around it, the sunlight starts to disappear.
Okay, so the sun is shining at that object from a different angle, is what you're saying. Right, so as we're rotating, the sunlight is striking that object at a different lower angle. The lower the sun, the longer the shadow. The higher the sun, the shorter the shadow. Right, so let's think about how could we illustrate something like that? Like in my mind, I would do like a flagpole with a shadow behind it and maybe the sun shining over here. So the sun shining here, the flagpole, and then the shadow. Because would it make sense to have the sun and the shadow on the same side? Let me say that again. Would it make sense to have the sun and the shadow on the same side? No, it wouldn't. Because the object has to block the sun to form a shadow. All right, so the other thing, we got to come up with 4 words that would help us understand this passage. And today I decided to let y'all help me determine what vocabulary word you think what vocabulary words you think would be the most beneficial and appropriate here to help us remember this information that we read. So I want you to take a moment and I want you to turn and talk to a neighbor and come up with at least 2 words out of this text that you think would be really good vocabulary that can help us remember this important information. So turn and talk to your neighbor for about 1 minute. If you don't have a neighbor, get around somebody that you can discuss this with for about a minute and come up with 2 good vocabulary words. I am timing you, so 1 minute.
Ancient time. What? Ancient time. That you can't shadow. Yeah, that's what I would think. Okay, so fall for no reason. Let me check out.
All right, your minute is up. Go ahead and wrap up your conversation, your idea that you were saying.
That was a minute? I felt like that was 3 seconds.
Time flies when you're having fun.
Like 10. I wasn't having fun.
3, 2, 1. All right, Michael, tell me a word that you chose.
I chose falls.
Who?
Falls at the beginning.
Falls. Okay, so how would that help you understand?
They said when sunlight falls on an object,
Okay.
then when sunlight falls on an object, the object shows points away from the sun.
Okay, all right.
Because
So,
sunlight falls on it and it makes it shine.
okay, I like it. I like that. I like your train of thought there, Marilyn.
Sundial.
I like that. Tell me about a sundial.
Sundial is a stick that sticks out the ground and they write markings for the time of day and how long it is.
Yes, absolutely. And it was one of the very first ways that people told time. Owen?
Ancient times?
Okay, ancient. I like it. And what about ancient times, what does that have to do with this information?
Because one of the first ways of telling time was created in ancient times.
Yes, that good sundial, all that. Absolutely. And ancient meaning very old, long time ago. Right. Wyatt?
I came up with a cross.
Okay, so tell me, how does a cross help you to understand about shadows and time?
It's like you know how we did illustrate and the sun is casting behind a flagpole and it's like showing shadow.
Mm-hmm.
It's like the sun is coming across something like and then making a shadow on the other end.
Okay, I like it.
I'm making a shadow right now.
You are. Colton, let the see. What? I think you're thinking about Oh. Jada? Okay, I like it. Sunlight, that's hugely important because without sunlight, we would not have, right? Did anybody put shadows?
I put shadow.
Because I definitely would have put shadows. Okay. Go ahead, Charlie.
I did position because in certain positions you see your shadow.
I like it. That's a good one. Yes. All right. Positions. I like that one. All right, Marilyn, tell me your other one.
Daylight.
Daylight. That's a good one because we have to have daylight in order to have shadows. So, would a sundial help you tell time at night?
No.
No, that would be the limitations because do we have the sun visible up in the sky at nighttime?
But we have moonlight.
No. It's not going to help us cast shadows. Colton with the scene?
The moonlight doesn't really produce its own shadow.
Right.
A good way to remember it is the most important thing and obvious way for you to remember it. Don't forget your paper. What? Don't forget your paper and then you will remember it. Then you will just leave it. What was the point?
All right, thank you for sharing. Okay, so I like some of these words. I'm going to add some words. Now, just because I put them does not mean that what you put was wrong. If the words that you put are helping you to remember how shadows help us to tell time and how the position of the sun affects shadows and how the Earth's rotation affects shadows and the time of the day, whatever you need to help you remember that information, those are the words that you're going to put. So I would put shadow. I would put sundial. I would put sunlight. And I think I would put time.
But here's the thing, if you lose or forget about the paper, you won't be able to see it. Even my paper has a shadow.
So if it, I'll leave that where you can see.
Okay, fine.
And if I were going to illustrate, I would put my sun. Now, y'all can do your own illustration. I'm not telling you what you have to put. And then maybe a flagpole.
I was gonna say, I'm not really good at making shadows. All I have to do is shape lightly with your pencil. Or whatever you have. American flag. Oh, I'm proud to be an American. I don't think they have American flags. Why did Why did so many people do it? Because we're all American. Aren't the straps?
You keep on saying that why do you keep on saying that you're Russian then? Not you.
I don't know.
First you say you're Russian, then
What?
Me walking down the street with my headphones, and then it's a shadow.
Yes. And your shadow is big, so that means that it must be either early in the morning or late in the evening.
No, they don't.
Late in the evening. That big tall shadow. I love it. All right, so you will need to summarize your information. So remember, when we write a summary grant, we're just going to tell the most important information, and we're going to put it in our own words to write our summary. Now, let's read through the comprehension question. The main idea of shadows and time is that, please don't shout out, A, the moon causes shadows, B, shadows change during the day, C, people today do not use sundials, or D, shadows do not change with time. Turn and talk to your neighbor about which of these is the main idea of this passage.
I'm just saying the news is talking about.
Grant, please go put your device inside Miss Whitson's room. You've lost privileges for today. This is not time to be on our device. Malene, go put your device in Miss Whitson's room. Who? With the summary? Okay. So, the main idea of shadows and time is that what? Maddie? Absolutely. Shadows change during the day because of why? The position of the sun. Yes. So we can say shadows change during the day because of the position of the sun. This can help us tell time. We do not need all of that. That's unnecessary and not very helpful. No. That is just 4 vocabulary words that are going to help you remember what this was about. Now, if you did, that's even better. But today I wasn't going to require the whole sentence. All right, so shadows change during the day. If you wrote a different summary, it's okay. If you haven't written a summary yet and you don't want to try to think of your own summary for whatever reason, here is a summary that you can add to your paper.
I'm dumb, so I'm gonna.
Don't say that. You are not.
Okay.
That's what my mom.
Let's get this straight, Owen.
So let's remember, I am recording. So let's be respectful of the people who are watching this that are not in class with us. All right, so shadows change during the day because of the position of the sun, period. Shadows can help us tell time. Okay?
That's what my mom, this my mom's birthday, and she's turning 40.
Oh, happy birthday, Mom. I hope y'all treat her like a queen today. Oh, and by the way, this right here, these were my little sun rays coming down onto the flag. It looks like I made it like it was raining or something, but those are my sun rays.
I see it.
That's how it's like, wait, sun rays.
Sun rays.
Yeah, I thought you said
Oh no! Yes,